Nietzsche said humans don't want happiness. We don't want pleasure. We don't even want to survive. We want power, and we'll destroy ourselves getting it. This isn't about dictators or CEOs. It's about why you stay in relationships that hurt you, why success feels empty, why you sabotage the things you claim to want, because the will to power isn't what you think it is. By the end of this video, you'll understand why every human behavior, love, art, morality, even self-destruction, is a mask for the same drive, and why the people who deny this the loudest are proving it the most. Subscribe to see what most people are blind to. New Psychology Deep Dives weekly. Think about the last time you helped someone, really helped them, sacrificed your time, your comfort, your resources. Now be honest. How did it feel when they didn't acknowledge it? When they didn't thank you properly? When they took it for granted? That flash of resentment, that anger, that's not you being selfish. That's the will to power showing you what you are actually after, not their well-being, your superiority. And Nietzsche says this is everything, every single thing you do. Let me show you how deep this goes. The Darwin Mistake. For 150 years, we've believed humans are driven by survival, self-preservation, reproduction, passing on genes. Nietzsche says that's backwards. We don't seek survival, we seek power. And when power requires risking survival, we risk it. Every time. Look at extreme sports, war, martyrdom, addiction. People destroying their bodies, their futures, their lives. Not in spite of survival instinct, but because power matters more. The alcoholic isn't choosing death over life. They're choosing the power of escape, of rebellion against their own weakness, over the powerlessness of sobriety. Survival is a consequence of power, not the goal. The pleasure trap. Psychology says humans seek pleasure and avoid pain. Hedonism, the pleasure principle. Nietzsche laughs at this, because humans constantly choose pain. Athletes, artists, parents, entrepreneurs. Not because pain leads to future pleasure, because suffering that increases your power feels better than pleasure that doesn't. Watch someone in the gym. They're in agony, muscles screaming. Could stop any time. Don't. Why? Because the pain proves they're overcoming themselves, dominating their body, expanding their capacity. That's power. And power feels better than comfort. The monk who fasts isn't avoiding pleasure. He's experiencing a deeper pleasure, the power of self-mastery, of dominating his own desires. The happiness delusion. We claim we want happiness, peace, contentment. Then why does everyone successful, rich, famous, accomplished report feeling empty? Why does achieving your dream so often lead to depression? Because happiness was never the goal. Power was. And once you have the power you sought, it's no longer power. It's maintenance. The entrepreneur doesn't want to run a successful business. They want to build one. The struggle, the conquest, the expansion. Once it's built, boring, meaningless. Time to start another company, have an affair, blow it all up and start over. We don't want to arrive. We want to overcome. That's the will to power. And this reframes everything you thought you understood about yourself. Because if power is the drive, then your good behaviors, your morality, your kindness, your love, they're all power moves too. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. The altruism disguise. You give to charity, help your friends, volunteer. You're a good person, right? Nietzsche asks, why do you need people to know you're good? If morality was about the act itself, you'd be fine doing good in secret, never acknowledged, never praised. But you're not fine with that. It bothers you when your goodness goes unrecognized, because being good isn't the goal. Being recognized as good, the social power, the moral superiority, the status, that's the goal. Watch how good people react when their goodness is questioned, not with humility, with rage, because you've attacked their power source. The victim Olympics. Here's where it gets dark. Victimhood is power. Not actual suffering, that's powerless. But the social position of recognized victim. That's leverage. That's moral authority. That's a weapon. Watch how people compete for victim status. How they display their suffering. How they weaponize their pain to shut down criticism, demand accommodation, punish others. You can't judge me. I've been through trauma. That's not vulnerability. That's a power move, using suffering as a shield and a sword. And Nietzsche sees this everywhere. Slave morality, he calls it. When the powerless can't dominate through strength, they dominate through weakness. Make weakness itself a form of power. The compassion con. You feel compassion for suffering people. That's beautiful, right? That's what separates us from monsters. Nietzsche says, look closer at that compassion. How does it make you feel? Superior, powerful, strong enough to help, secure enough to care. You're the helper. They're the helped. You're above. They're below. Compassion is a power relationship disguised as love. You need people to be weaker than you so you can feel strong through helping them. That's why the homeless man who refuses your charity enrages you. He's rejecting your power move, denying you the superior position. Real equality, where you're not the helper, doesn't feel as good, because it doesn't give you power. And if morality is just power in disguise, then what about love? What about art? What about the things that feel pure? This is where Nietzsche becomes truly brutal. The possession instinct. You love someone deeply, genuinely, would do anything for them. Now imagine they don't need you. They're completely independent, self-sufficient, could lose you tomorrow and be fine. How does that feel, if you're honest? Terrible, powerless, meaningless. Because love isn't about their happiness. It's about your power over them, your importance to them, the fact that they need you. Watch how people in relationships constantly test. Do you still need me? Am I still important? Could you survive without me? That's not insecurity. That's the will to power checking if it still has power. The sacrifice proof. I've sacrificed so much for you. Everyone in a long relationship has heard this, or said it. Why say it? Why keep score? Why does sacrifice need acknowledgement? Because sacrifice is a power move. Every sacrifice is a debt. Every debt is leverage. I gave up my career for you means you owe me. I have power over you. Love that demands recognition for sacrifice isn't love. It's a power transaction dressed in affection. And the worst part, you don't even realize you're doing it. You genuinely believe you're being selfless, while keeping detailed mental records of every sacrifice to use as ammunition later. The art domination. Artists claim they create for expression, for beauty, for truth. Then why do they need audiences? Why does the poet without readers stop writing? Why does the painter need galleries? Because art isn't about expression. It's about imposing your vision onto others, making them see what you see, feel what you feel, dominating their internal experience. Every artist wants their work to move people, to impact them, to change them. That's power. You're using beauty as a weapon to conquer consciousness. The writer who says, I just write for myself, but secretly checks sales rankings every day. The musician who doesn't care about fame, but obsesses over streaming numbers. They're all seeking the same thing, power over other minds. And this is why Nietzsche is so disturbing. Because if he's right, then everything, literally everything, is about power. Even the things we do to deny that fact. Especially those things. The noble lie. People who deny the will to power most aggressively are usually demonstrating it most clearly. I'm not interested in power. I just want to help people. I don't care about status. These are power claims. You're claiming moral superiority over people who openly seek power. You're positioning yourself above the power-hungry. Your denial of power is your power move. Nietzsche calls this the noble lie. We lie to ourselves about our motivations because the lie itself increases our power. Appearing selfless is more powerful than appearing selfish, so we become masters of self-deception, genuinely believe our own lies, which makes them more convincing to others. The weakness worship. Modern culture worships weakness, vulnerability, admitting you're broken. Trauma-informed everything. Nietzsche would say, this isn't enlightenment, it's a power strategy. When you can't compete through traditional power, strength, status, achievement, you redefine power itself. Make weakness powerful. Make vulnerability valuable. Make trauma a credential. Suddenly, the most damaged person in the room has the most authority. Can't be criticized. Can't be challenged. Their suffering is a shield that protects them from accountability. That's brilliant strategy. But it's still strategy. Still power. The Transcendence Trick. Spiritual people say they've transcended ego, transcended desire, transcended the will to power itself. Watch how they talk about this transcendence, with pride, with superiority over unconscious people, with claims of special knowledge. I used to be like you, seeking power, but now I'm beyond that. That's the ultimate power claim. You're not just powerful, you're beyond power. Not just superior, you're beyond superiority. The guru who says, I have no ego, while sitting on a throne surrounded by followers who call him master. That's not transcendence. That's the will to power in its most refined form. You can't transcend it, because even the desire to transcend it is it. The inescapable truth. Every human behavior is will to power expressing itself. Your career, your relationships, your beliefs, your values, your identity itself. All of it is you trying to impose yourself onto reality, to matter, to affect, to dominate in some way. And the people who recognize this and own it, they're not more corrupt than you. They're just more honest. The liberation. But here's what most people miss about Nietzsche. This isn't nihilism, it's liberation. Once you stop lying to yourself about why you do things, you can actually choose what kind of power to pursue. Stop seeking power through victimhood and seek it through strength. Stop seeking power through manipulation and seek it through creation. Stop seeking power over others and seek power over yourself. The will to power doesn't go away, but you can direct it toward becoming who you actually want to be instead of who you pretend to be. Nietzsche said humans don't want happiness. We don't want pleasure. We don't even want to survive. We want power, and we'll destroy ourselves getting it. You've been proving this your entire life, every moral claim, every loving gesture, every selfless act. All of it expressing the same drive, to matter, to affect, to dominate. The question isn't whether you're driven by will to power. You are. The question is, what are you going to do now that you know?